Hello, my name is Devon and welcome back to the channel that I never post on. You may have read the title and thought, Louis Capaldi songs as art, what does that mean? I'm here to tell you. First of all, I do consider Louis Capaldi's songs to already be art. This video is just going to be me taking them and making art inspired off of them and like using the lyrics and stuff, because it's something that I was really inspired to do. There's nothing over there. What? A few things to address beforehand. I am just using his album Divinely Uninspired to a hellish extent. I was going to use the extended version, which has 3 other songs that I absolutely love, but in the interest of conserving time, I only used the 12 songs from his original album. This was going to include me doing photography, but I thought about it and I was like, I don't know, the photos that I want to take are not necessarily like social distancing photos, so I opted out of that and I am simply doing watercolor and acrylic. Similarly to the Harry Styles outfits videos, this art is something that I just really like to do for fun, especially right now with everything that's going on. So I am not an expert at it, I am not good, I am not even trying to claim that I'm good. A lot of the things that you'll see are like, wow, you're really putting that out there, aren't you? And I'm like, unfortunately, yes I am. So similar to the last video, there is a hierarchy. Not everything is good, but there are some that I am genuinely like proud of and that I like and that I think are kind of cool. There's a lot that I'm not, so just get that out of the way right there. I'm ready. I've got it all written down. Wait. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, first song we have Grace. This one was inspired by the lyrics, all dressed up but kept undercover, because the dress is kind of fancy and the coat is kind of covering it. Originally, the coat was going to be covering the dress and the body a little bit more, but I ultimately really liked the dress and the image that I created before the coat, so I wanted to keep as much of that as possible, honestly, because I really like this one. It was one of the last ones I did, and I really like it. Moving on to Bruises. For this one, I was inspired by the lyrics, there must be something in the water because every day it's getting colder, and there's a lot of like water themed lyrics within this song, so I drew it as a hand coming out of the water. The hand obviously has a bunch of bruises on it because the song is called Bruises. This was actually the very first one that I did. Yeah, it's not my favorite. It falls kind of in the middle, for me at least.
Hold me while you wait.
Hold Me While You Wait. This one, again, it's kind of in the middle, but it's kind of a companion to Don't Get Me Wrong, which we'll get to later. I'm sure if you heard the song before, you'll know it's about one person wanting to leave the relationship and the other person saying, I understand you want to leave, but just like, will you hold me while you make your decision? Because like, I don't want to leave the relationship. I painted one hand trying to preserve the relationship and the other one like wanting to leave. Next up we have Someone You Loved. I don't like this one that much. It's not good. It's inspired by the lyrics, the day bleeds into nightfall. Obviously there is a sunset, the day is bleeding into the nightfall, and there's a person, you know, longingly looking up at the sun and basically just being like, oh, why am I alone? Which, you know, I feel every single day, but I don't really like it. I feel like it's a piece of child's artwork, but that's fine. Maybe. Next up we have Maybe. This was inspired by the lyrics, everything that I touch turns to stone. Obviously he's touching the wall that is turning to stone. I tried to make the stone portion look a bit in the shape of a heart, because, you know, the song is about love, so like hearts. I don't know why I draw hands so much in this, because I'm not good at it, but you'll find that there's a lot of hands in this. This one's kind of in the middle again. I'm kind of impartial on it. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, wow, it's kind of good, and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, what was I thinking? Forever. Next up we have Forever. This one was based on the lyrics Under the Exit Lights, and obviously them like breaking up and saying like it wasn't meant to last forever, but we can still kind of reminisce in the good times. I originally was like, oh, this will be the background, so I painted it kind of sloppily, and then I was like, wait, to scale these people would be tiny, so then I drew in these tiny little people, and it's definitely could have been done better, I think. especially the lyrics at the bottom. They're written so sloppily, but hey, it's there. Okay, one. This is a good one in my opinion. The whole song of One feels like a kind of thank you letter to the ex of the partner. And it's basically saying like, hey, thank you for messing up so that I can have my partner. So I made it kind of like a letter, like he was writing a letter to them. And I included the dying flowers in the vase, and there was something else I was gonna include, but I forgot what it was now. But I actually really like this one. I think it turned out kind of cool.
Don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong. Again, I said this is a companion to Hold Me While You Wait, because it feels like the next stage in that relationship where they both kind of realize, hey, this relationship doesn't really work out with both of us, so we should probably break it off now before we get too far into things. Or they were already far into things and they were like, oh crap, it doesn't work. The two hands, they like want to make it work. Don't get me wrong, I want to make it work, but we should probably just let things go. All of them look like cartoon hands, so I should just stop painting hands. I've learned a lesson with this video. I have learned.
Sometime in Hollywood, trying to...
Hollywood, this one is up there, top tier for me. There are some things wrong with it, but you know. Obviously it's the Hollywood sign, and I was gonna put some people looking up at the Hollywood sign, or like one person looking up at the Hollywood sign kind of being like, oh, now I'm in Hollywood, I miss this person or whatever. But I didn't, because I have not had the best experience painting people in the past, so why would I do it now, you know? So yeah, it's just the Hollywood sign. I actually really like it. I think it looks really good, kind of aesthetic, if you will. I'm looking at it now. I mean, the words are a bit messed up, but hey, I can make do with that.
I'm getting lost on you.
Lost on You. This one is the very, very last one I did because I was very like, oh, I don't know what to do for this one. And ultimately, it's kind of based on the lyrics, never spend so long on a losing battle, but lately giving up doesn't seem to matter. You'll see me put those lyrics on there towards the end. But there's a lot of lyrics about like giving up. So I put a surrender flag, so it's someone kind of like giving up and like giving up on the battle and stuff. So yeah, not my best, honestly, but it's also not the worst. Yeah.
Don't fade away.
Fade. This one is kind of obvious. I drew a silhouette and I wanted everything within the silhouette to be very faded while everything outside was very bright and colorful, because the lyrics are like, oh, don't fade away. But like she is fading away, whereas everything else around her is very, very bright. Yeah, that one, I actually really like that one. There are some things that I obviously think I could do better, but I think it's not that bad.
Headspace.
Next up we have Headspace. This one looked better in my head than it did when executed, but that's fine. Basically, there's a lot of like imagery in the lyrics, and I wanted it to be kind of represented in the headspace, so that's why I drew a head. But ultimately it looks very kind of cartoonish, and I don't really like it, and most of the videos out of frame, which is just bad cinematography for me, so it's not the best. Let me tell you that, it's not the best. But you knew that. You're looking at it. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that video. It's very different. Well, it's not very different, but it's like kind of different from my last video. But I'm a huge Lewis Capaldi fan. I love all of his music, and I just wanted to make some art based on it, so I did. It took me a long time. I started this almost a whole week ago, which is weird. Oh god, it took me a week to do this. Oh well. I do have a couple other ideas floating around in my head for videos, so stay tuned for those.